بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Today we have a very important topic, very interesting topic, a topic that I want to discuss, that we all should discuss. I feel like that needs to be addressed, especially in the society we live in right now. It is the rise of atheism and low iman. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started on this.
Hold on, wait.
This guy making this.
Hold on, wait. Not for real, not for real.
bro?
Nah, this is serious. Saraha, man. We needed that intro, man. Look, hold on. But just to start out this topic, I want to discuss how Islam is truly the only monotheistic religion out there. In Islam, if anyone else says other than this, in Islam, we believe in sole worship to only one God.
How?
The Lord of what?
How?
What do you
Explain.
Well, we pray through our actions, through submission, through leaving off bad deeds.
We don't associate partners with God.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what he meant.
Oh,
by
that's what you were
how,
getting
like-
at?
I mean, because there's other religions out there that claim to be monotheistic, but in essence, their belief doesn't prove to be monotheistic. Islam is the true monotheistic religion. Only believes in one God, that He has no partners. There's none worthy of worship but Him.
And the fact that we do everything for His sake and His sake alone, like truly, like no other intention. Like if there's ever an action that we do, it was by Allah's commandment.
And actually, hold up. Before we get into the actual topic, I want you to think about what "for His sake alone" means, right? If you go about your life thinking, okay, how does this make me a better Muslim? How does this make me a better person? How does this bring me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can I prioritize this action so that I get good deeds for it? That's doing something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like when I used to play football, I never thought exactly how it brought me closer to Allah until I actually thought to quit. When I said, okay, if this thing starts to bring me further away from Allah, from my prayer or whatever, I have to stop it. And that's when I started realizing, okay, what am I benefiting from this? Like, how is this going to bring me closer to my akhirah? And then it started to click with me like, yeah, of course, it's fun. You know, I enjoy it. It can be a full-time job if I make it further, if I go professional and stuff like that, and I can provide for my family. But in reality, the action itself wasn't bringing me any closer to Allah. It was actually bringing me further because I was forgetting Allah while I was doing it. You know, you're sitting there, you're thinking about what you're doing. It's like if you were playing video games all day. It's hard to think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you're doing something that has nothing to do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know what I'm saying? But if you're doing something that you love and it can help you get closer to Allah, then why wouldn't Allah make it easier for you to attain that thing?
It's things like, you know, being beneficial to your society, to your community, being beneficial to your family, you know, those types of things. And when you live a life essentially like in service of those around you, and people, they'll try to condescend to that. But like, I don't see no problem with that. Like I want to be a serviceful human being. I want to be like, how can I help you? Let me help. What can I do for you? This, that, the third. I feel like that's one of the most fulfilling ways to go through life for the sake of Allah.
And that actually brings me to a point real quick. Like people think that they have to slave away at a job that they don't like just to provide for their family. And this job is not something that's very good for them. But me, I'm someone who thinks like, okay, the money would never be worth that. If Allah is my Ar-Razak, right? He's my provider. Why would I have to do something that I don't like to provide for my family? That would make me not only neglect my connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I'd be resentful to Him for putting me in this situation. Like, why would you put me in a situation that I don't like just so that I have to provide for my family? Like, it's not worth it.
See, and here's the thing. When we talk about, you know, atheism in Islam, like the rise of atheism, or just the idea, like the conceptual idea of atheism, when I think it's like, because I adopted Islam, because I'm a Muslim, I like doing things that I don't like. I like doing things that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? It allows me to do things that I don't like. I don't like waking up early, but I wake up early regardless. If I was an atheist, I wouldn't wake up at all.
Well, okay.
Hey, hold on.
I think I see what you're saying.
You know, remember earlier, like right now when we were just getting food, right? And I was like, there may be a possibility that I have to leave today, right? And if I leave today, I have to come back tomorrow. I was like, and I don't like doing things that I have to do. But I was like, look, I'll do them. And it just, it reflects back to what you were saying. Like in Islam, like we're told to do certain things. We might not, like to do them, but you have to fall in love with doing it, right? You fall in love with the deen. You fall in love with following Allah and His messenger, right? And anything that we do, like I said, when we say for His sake alone, like it is truly for Allah's sake. Like when Allah says to follow the Prophet, right? Because some people like look at that as worship, like, oh, you guys want to be exactly like the Prophet, right? So you guys are like worshiping him. But no, we're not. The reason why is because Allah told us to. Allah told us directly in the Quran, like, Ati Allah wa ati Rasul, like follow Allah and His messenger. And that's exactly why we follow Him. Because if he didn't say that, like we wouldn't
We
be
wouldn't
doing
do
the
it,
things
yeah.
that we
Yeah.
were doing today.
Like Osman says a lot. He references a surah in the a verse in the Quran, and he says that the Quran guides to that which is most upright. And
Mhm.
part of what the Quran says is to follow Allah and follow the messenger. And what is the messenger? A walking Quran. And what did the messenger do in his life? He showed us how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best manner, better than anyone who's ever walked the face of the earth, better than Adam, better than Ibrahim, better than Musa, peace be upon all of them. He showed us how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how to live our life. And not
And you
only
know-
to live your life as someone who's not in the most wealthy state, and or someone who is in a wealthy state, but to achieve piousness no matter what stage of life you're in.
You know, one of the most like coolest sayings I've ever heard from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, it was Umar ibn al-Khattab. I don't remember fully, but he was talking regarding the Jews, right? And like their book. And the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam said, "Oh Ibn al-Khattab, oh son of Khattab, don't you know that if Musa alayhi salam was alive today, he would have to follow me. He would have no choice but to follow me." And so when you have these people that say like that try and diss the way we like follow our messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, you have to understand we're a group of people. We're a people who think and truly believe that he was the best of us, that he was the best like that humanity had to offer. Think about it.
No, that's actually crazy. I've actually never heard that.
Mhm.
So,
Well, that is true too. I mean,
what's
bro,
the reference?
it is in
Go
hadith.
ahead.
And bro, you even think about it, when Isa alayhi salam comes back to defeat the Dajjal, who is he gonna follow?
Yeah, he's
Is he gonna follow
the
his
Prophet
own
sallallahu
aqidah? No, he's gonna follow the deen of Islam. He's gonna follow that which came after him, because that's even better for him. He's not gonna be in a state of prophethood because
Yeah,
someone
he's
came
not-
after him who was better than him.
Isa alayhi salam is going to be the only other he's going to be the only other prophet to adopt the different sunnah.
Exactly.
He's going to adopt the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
SubhanAllah. And the reason why Osman brought this topic up, right? This topic that like, oh, atheism is rising. We live in the West and we see that so many people, the biggest religion that's growing for some of these people is no religion. And that no religion in
right,
itself
it's
is
a
a
religion.
religion.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
love this point. I always say that. It's definitely a religion. Anything that you do, like I love the verse in the Quran where it talks about, have you seen the one who
Takes his
takes
own
his own
desires.
desires as his God? Right. And that's your atheism. When you take your intellectual, mind as your God, you're worshiping that. That's your religion. You create your own thing. People always have this point. Oh, you guys follow a man-made religion, this and that. But in reality, you make your own man-made religion. You did not help anyone. You just made the problem worse in your eyes, right? Because you just created another so-called man-made religion by
look,
following your own
Look,
desires.
in reality, dude, whenever I come across someone, oh, are you religious? Nah, I'm not really religious. Like, that's a religion. You effectively follow something. Because let's look at what is religion? What do we do in Islam? We have a set of rules, we have a set of boundaries, and we follow that. It's like a code. You have a set of rules, you just follow what you think.
Humans were innately bound to follow. It doesn't matter who you are. You're bound to follow something.
Yeah.
Look, okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows people to be in a position of power. He allows people to lead. Some people are born to lead. Like the Prophet ﷺ, he was born to lead. That's why he was the leader of the Muslims. He's the leader of the Muslims, even though he's not even here, right? And people after him, they were set to take charge of the Muslims during the time in Mecca, right? And they have a responsibility, right? But they still follow someone as well. The Muslims who led after the Prophet ﷺ, they followed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People here, they follow a certain code. They follow the laws that they've made for their land or whatever it may be. And you as a human being, you're going to be following the law. You're going to be following your government, following whoever your president, your king or whatever. And then you even have your own set of following, your own set of morals. If you're someone who doesn't believe in God or believe in a higher power, you're going to be following your own set of morals. The biggest saying for them is like, oh, why can't I just be good without believing in God?
Dude, one of the most common arguments that atheists make, and dude, we know about this from all those lives we did, is that they blame God for their situation or someone else's situation. I hate hearing that. Like, it's the question: if God is all good or all powerful, why does He allow bad things to happen? But understanding like the nature of this world.
But you know what's crazy? The question that they do ask, if God is all good, all merciful, why would He allow such things to happen? It is a very much valid question.
Yeah.
It's a very much valid question. It's a question that we've all asked in our lives, right? Something that I probably asked you, whatever. We've all probably asked that.
Let's talk about it.
Right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we know in our religion of Islam, we know how to go about it, right? We know that this life is temporary. This life is a test. This life is not going to be perfect, right? So we're going to have those situations that we have to deal with. We're going to have hardships, right? We know with hardship comes ease, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know that, your pain and suffering is not going to be forever. Without religion, without God, how would you even know these things, right? what do you resort to? You resort to blaming this so-called God that you don't even believe in. So you're pretty much blaming nothing.
And look, and I like the fact that you said it's a very much valid question, because when we talk about things like this, when we talk about other religions, it's not, we don't bash other religions. You know, I adopt the idea, you know, James Madison, he had the, you know, the idea that we should allow everyone to bring their ideas so that we can argue about it. Because truth is always going to separate from falsehood. I love when I talk to people from differing values, differing ideas, because it's one of the best things to do. Because then you can see our differences. Where do we differ? Where do we agree? Things like this. But I want to add on to what you said about, what'd you say about what's it called?
What? It's a valid question.
Yeah. Okay. It's a valid question. Why? Because in the Quran, it responds to this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, do you believe that you will say that you have faith and you will not be tested? There you go. There's your answer. That's why things not gonna always go your way. You didn't create this world. Like, come on, man.
Part of that also reminds me of when Allah addresses people in the Quran, that when you do good, you do it for the benefit of yourself, and when you do bad, it's hurtful on you. Like it doesn't affect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any way. So any pain or suffering that is caused to us here, who's it the result of? You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send calamity, send hardship your way, but ultimately certain things are because of us. It may not be directly the cause of you yourself, but there's people out there who have free will just like you, and they're going to make the wrong choice, and as a result, bad things are going to happen. When you think about people who are married and one of the spouses cheats on the other, that's going to effectively ruin their relationship, ruin their family, and then it's going to go ahead and start ruining the society if more and more people are adulterous, or more and more people are getting divorces. More and more people are turning to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then people become drunk. They start committing crimes. They start doing X, Y, and Z. So then the whole community falls apart. The whole society falls apart. And who can you blame for that?
You blame
can't blame
yourselves.
God.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't follow the commandments of God, right? And that's exactly what the consequence is. But look, another point that this reminds me of is when Allah tells the angels in the Quran that He's gonna place that on the earth, a Khalifa, right? And they're like, huh?
A leader,
a leader, right? And then they were like, "Oh, you're gonna place something on earth that's gonna cause corruption and shed blood, while we sit here and we praise you." And Allah says, "I know that which you do not know." Just hearing that alone is just like so comforting, right?
Mhm.
Because like you look at that, and you know, you could say that what they're saying is right. We as human beings, we do cause bloodshed, we do cause mischief on the land. You know, we do wrong things, but the reality is Allah knows that which we do not know, right? Meaning Allah has a bigger plan for us. Allah has something for us that, you know, we do not know about, right? Which is, you know, comforting to hear about. But if you're not reading the Quran, how would you know such things?
And
If you're not following God.
when you're a worshiper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you follow that which is made halal for you, and you stay away from that which is made haram for you, you could be better than the angels. But if you only follow your desires, you don't follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you could be worse than an animal, because animals, they only have desire. Their only will is to follow their desire to survive. Angels, their only will is to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're in the middle. We're the middle path. We're the middle creation. Everything for us is set in the middle. Islam is made easy if you follow the middle path. Your life will be made easy if you follow the middle path. You don't follow your desires, and you look to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as best as you can. Because you're going to come up short. The angels, they're not going to come up short, because their only will is to follow Allah. They can't disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No,
Us,
even angels, they'll say that they haven't praised Allah enough.
They will. There's angels that were created.
It makes me think of the verse where Allah says that corruption has spread on the land and the earth by what the hands of the people have brought. And remember when we were on live and we were talking to an atheist, and they were talking about why do children starve, or why are their children being starved? And the response is, what are you doing to feed them?
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, you could change what's bad. We could all, if every human got up today and decided to be good, dude, nothing bad would happen.
For example, I saw something. It was like, for $100, you could feed a whole family in Yemen for a whole month, right? People, they can't get access to it. They can't get access to food. They can't get access to water. Then you have people on the other side of social media. Oh, guys, look, I just made $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 in a day, right? But yet a small portion of that could have literally helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families. But why doesn't it happen? Because people don't want to help. You know, everything is there for you. I heard a thing. It was like, you know, Elon Musk could feed the world 3 times. Why doesn't he do it?
Exactly.
All right,
Like,
we have plenty. Everything is here. We have all the resources. We have all the materials, but it's just not gonna happen. People. We have our choices. Allah, and Allah's gonna sit here, and that's why He's gonna question us about these things. When you brought up before, Allah will ask us about our blessings, right? That's part of that. Allah will ask you about your blessings. You had all this money. You had all this time. You had good health. What did you do to help the people? You didn't do anything. All right, and then you will be punished for it. Everything that you have is a test, whether it be good or bad, right? So that whether that be your good health, your money, your children, anything, your housing, I don't care what it is. Anything that you thank Allah for, and the things that you don't thank Allah for is a blessing onto you.
That actually, you can address that too. Like if someone asks, oh, why did God allow all these people to starve? I mean, you could be the same person who's seeing like, oh, $60 will feed 5 families for a whole month, and you're just scrolling past that all the time. When if you are in a position to be able to help people, then you can't ask, why did God allow this to happen, when He put you in a position to do that? Because it's not rewarding for God to help the people. He doesn't gain anything from it. Whether you suffer, whether you don't, if your life is good, if your life is bad, Allah is the greatest. He's greater no matter what. He lets you do that. He puts people in a position to say, you have this wealth right now, and it can benefit you or it can harm you. It could be a curse or it could be a blessing for you. So if you're gonna ask, oh, why did God allow this? You may have the resources to actually make a difference. Whether that's just $1 to be able to donate to help someone, you're making a difference. You may not perceive it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perceives better than you. He knows that which you do not know. Like He said, always know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the knower of the unseen. So while we might perceive things as little, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may perceive that as the greatest deed that we've ever done. Mm-hmm. You may have been praying for your whole life, but because you donated $1, maybe you only had $10 in your bank account, you donated $1 for this thing, that may have been the best deed that you've ever done in your life, because it may have been the most sincere you've ever been.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
SubhanAllah. And that just goes into how important your intention is, how important having a cleansed heart, a purified heart is. And we can't do that on our own. We can't do that without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can't be arrogant. We can't be prideful, thinking that we can walk on this earth exaltedly, like the way that Qarun did. Qarun was given so much blessings by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but what did he do for it? He took it for granted. He thought it was from himself. Nowadays, the people who don't take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as their Lord, they walk on this earth as if they've done it themselves, as if the Big Bang happened by itself and they're just here. They've just spawned here and they're living their life. They're going to try to do good. They're going to try to do X, Y, and Z, trying to become a millionaire, try to cement their legacy in the history books. All for what? For it to mean nothing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You know what you call this, right? The atheists, right? They have their ideas, right? It obviously spreads to us, the ones who are religious, and they cast doubt into our hearts. There's a term for that, right? You know what it's called? The blind leading the blind, right? Because if the atheists, they're out here, they don't know what's going on themselves, and they go ahead, they afflict it onto other people. You go ahead, you listen to that, you take that on too. Now look, you have a disease in your heart now, right? Now you're going to be blinded to that. You don't want to be the ones like in the Quran where they say, we're only following that which our fathers did. Right? You don't want to be one of those. You don't want to be the first atheist in your family, right? Imagine you come from a long lineage of Muslims, right? Who knows, even from the Prophet ﷺ, and then you were the first atheist. And then on top of that, you created a chain of blind after the blind after the blind after the blind. Like, I don't know. That's just crazy for me to even think about.
That's actually a wisdom that you've just provided, to actually be so mindful of what you do, what you say, who you follow, and your actions, because you may inflict that influence on others and you may be responsible for that.
And vice versa. Imagine you come from a long lineage of, atheists or Christians, whatever, and you're the first Muslim in the family, and then all your generations after that are Muslims. Imagine you're going to be rewarded for that, right? Because look, after we die, our deeds stop, except for what? Righteous children, charity, anything like that. Knowledge that you give afterwards, after your death. These things, they're gonna help you after your death. So imagine you, generation after generation after generation, you just because you decided to accept Islam, or you decided to be the one in your family to take it seriously, and that influenced other people to take it seriously, and that influenced even more people to take it seriously. Imagine the reward that you're gonna have for that.
SubhanAllah, when you think about someone who doesn't believe in God, I don't know how you live your life. Wallahi, I actually don't know. I've been trying to deep it right now for the past 5 minutes now. I don't actually know how you live your life, because even when I wasn't very religious, I still believed in Allah. You know what I'm saying? even though I wasn't the best Muslim, I wasn't the most practicing Muslim, I still believed in Allah. I believed in the last day. That was never a doubt in my heart ever since I was born, because my parents instilled that in me. And I always had that fear in my heart of, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they taught me a specific way. But the people who don't believe in anything, obviously they innately believe something. Maybe it's not God, maybe it's their desires, maybe it's that they want to provide for their family, X, Y, and Z. But how do you live your life like that?
No, for sure, this is a great point, because I remember when I was younger, right? Like you said, like when we're not so close to Allah, like when we're doing all the things that we were supposed to do. I remember when things got hard, though, I made sure I prayed. I made sure I turned back to Allah. But I don't even know what else I would have done if I didn't have that. Even though, like, let's say I wasn't the most religious person at all. Like, I was very far, but yet when things did get hard, I had Allah to turn to, even at that young of age. But when you don't believe in Allah, like, honestly, what do? You
become a better believer when you have more knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and of your religion, because even when I was praying, but I wasn't the most knowledgeable, there used to be things that would happen to me and I asked, like, why is this happening to me? But I didn't know. Like, I understood, okay, things are going to get hard, life is a test, this and that, but you don't actually firm it and you don't actually deep it until you know who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is and how he tests his creation.
It's because, bro, people let the word faith go over their head. People let, like, iman, they let it go over their head. Faith, we can't see Allah, but we know. We know. We have firm faith. Allah describes the believers in the Quran. They think about the heavens and the earth. They think about, like the skies and the universe and the stars. They think about it and they ponder over Allah's creation. These are the believers, and they have faith. They know. And then what it's in Surah Imran. They say, "Rabbana ma khalaqta hada batila." You did not create this with no purpose. So protect us from the fire. Like, bro, subhanAllah, you understand? It's like they jump from they think about the heavens and the earth. Like, yeah, this is definitely like this real. This real. This is like this real. And it's like this wasn't created without purpose. I can't imagine living a life without purpose. I'll be so, like, it's so depressing.
I think I remember actually talking about that in our ebook, talking about, like, when I had a purpose, but it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was for, the career that I was chasing, trying to be a professional athlete. And I remember it was so draining because I thought that if I didn't achieve that, I'd fail. And when you make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala your purpose, the purpose that you need to worship Allah, and your life will be all right. Everything will be taken care of if you trust Allah, you turn to Allah, and you try to do your righteous acts, try to stay away from sin. And if you do sin, you repent and you're sincere in your heart, then everything for you will be all right, because your purpose never ends. You're always trying to please Allah. You're always trying to turn back to Allah. You're always going to repent to Allah when you fall short. Like,
and then before you know it, like, you're on your deathbed or you're about to die, and you've lived the entire life, of repenting and turning back to Allah. You live the life of a Muslim.
And even then, like you said before, it was about that knowledge, right? When you don't know, as a Muslim, you should try to know as much as possible. Never stop seeking knowledge, because I can't tell you the amount of times, like, I was going through something and then, I was like, let me try to go turn back to Allah, go to try and learn more things. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, recite this dua if such and such is happening to you. And then they'll give, like, a story of, like, the time of the Prophet ﷺ or the time of another prophet before me. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that. And then, like, all of a sudden now your iman's starting to go back up. Now you know why. Or when you study the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you're sitting there making dua, right, you're trying to be the most sincere as possible, right? If you don't know his names and attributes, how can you be, right? Because when you sit there, you describe Allah with his names and attributes, right? Like, it just takes you into a whole nother level, right? When you're asking Allah for his forgiveness and you're addressing him as the most forgiving, as the most merciful, as the most loving, right? It's different than if you just say, oh, Allah, just forgive me. Way different, right? When you ask Allah for money and you ask Ar-Razaq versus when you just say, oh, Allah, provide me money. Like, it's at a whole different level. So you, as a Muslim, you should try to learn and memorize the 99 names of Allah, because why not? It's only gonna increase your faith, because you get to know Allah more. There's a problem with getting to know Allah. When you don't know Allah, you're gonna be far from Allah.
It's truly what you're talking about right now is wanting it more than just saying it. Like, the words don't mean anything more than what the heart, like, feels, right? So your dua is only gonna mean as much as how much you feel it in your heart. You could say the words all you want. You could say the most beautiful dua in the world, but if your heart's not feeling it more than the words that you're saying, then it's not gonna mean as much. Allah knows what's in your heart. He's going to answer you based on your intention, based on how sincere you are, and based on how attentive you are, concentrated you are when you're making that dua, and how bad you want it. So, like he's saying, if you can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by his names, and you know which names to call him out by when you're making a specific dua, that's going to make it all the more worthwhile for you, because you took the time to learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and why he called himself by these names, why he addressed you by only 99 names. He could have addressed you by every single name that there is to describe his majesty, but he gave you 99, and you should learn those, and there's a hikmah behind every single one of them.
And look, and if anyone has any doubt that their dua is not that their dua wouldn't be answered, think about when Iblis was cast out of Jannah, and Iblis made a dua to Allah. He asked Allah to let him stay alive until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah said, okay. Allah granted him like this. Iblis, he called to Allah, even though he just disobeyed Allah, because it doesn't to answer your call. It doesn't take away from God anything. It doesn't take away from His Majesty, and it doesn't. It's honestly like Allah wants to give us. He would never commanded us to make dua if he didn't want to give us. And if you think about it, it's like you got to count the blessings.
I also want you to think about how you just told us about how Iblis was granted a dua even though he just disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He just became a disbeliever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you before you even do anything, before you even ask a dua. He sees it. He knows it. He already heard the dua before it's even asked. SubhanAllah. So know that when you're making this dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already heard you. He may have heard you 1,000 times over, 1,000,000 times over, infinity times over, because he's your Lord. He's the all-seeing, the all-hearing. So he already knows that you've made this dua. Now you make that dua and you change your perspective on how you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like I remember when I felt like I was far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I just made dua that I needed Allah, I needed His help, and I'm nothing without Allah. I said I'm not capable. Allah's capable. I said I'm not knowing. Allah is knowing. And me addressing Him like that, it gave me this feeling in my heart that I was like, bro, I'm truly nothing. Like I'm insignificant without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With Allah, I'm significant, because now I have a purpose. Now I have something to work towards. Now I have purpose in my life that leads me past my life, leads me into my grave, leads me past my grave, leads me to the day of judgment. And whenever I had that feeling, I was like, wow, bro, I felt like invincible almost. Because I was like, this is truly like where my life began. It felt like I was reborn when I started to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I felt my sincerity. Like I felt my heart actually become real. And actually, hold up. You can actually tell when your heart is hard. Like when your heart is hard toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, let's say there's a seal on your heart. You're doing some acts of ibadah, but you find it hard to progress. You find it hard to do certain things, like making dua shouldn't be something that you do every couple of days. It should be something you do every single day. You should be able to dedicate some time every single day to making dua. But sometimes you might have like a hold on your heart that won't let you do that.
But you know what's crazy? The fact that you say that you can sense when your heart is hard, that is also a blessing from Allah, because when you're able to see that that's wrong, at least you're not from those who are deaf, dumb, and blind, right? They can't see. Right? They don't know. They'll never know. Their heart is hard, and they think they're right, and that's the only way. Like they be on that type of time. It's my way or the highway. Like that's the only way it be.
Those are the people who think that their heart is just a heartbeat.
Yep,
it's just a vessel. No, your heart is the vessel. It's literally the organ that keeps you alive, that keeps you connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's beyond just what your body is.
Even look at the anatomy, bro. What is your heart covered by? A rib cage. You got to protect it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
There's even a hadith, right? It talks about how like there's an organ or vessel in the body. If that becomes corrupted, the whole body becomes corrupted, and that's the heart.
And look, and think about it. When Islam, like when the Quran came to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and you see the people around him, the Sahaba around him, bro, they turned in. They were the like bad. They were bad people, and they turned into like the best people. We had the best warriors. We had the best everything, bro.
Well, these guys were
like these guys. They were on
some of the worst.
They became on a different level, like that. That should give hope to everyone.
Every revelation that was revealed to people who were doing wrong at the time, people who were transgressing against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Quran, the most generous words from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of any scripture that He's revealed, the best of all the books. Right? It came to the people who were the worst at the time, the worst of mankind, people who were associating all types of partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people who were killing their daughters, people who were abusive to their wives, all these types of things. And it came and it made them some of the best of mankind. You think of like the 10 who are guaranteed Jannah. Think about where they would have been had they not seen the light of Islam.
Even think of like a different time. Musa alayhi salam, the children of Israel, look how many chances that throughout the Quran that how many chances did Allah give them? How many chances did Allah give Fir'aun? It was like
Enough.
enough, yeah.
I mean, you think about it, bro. The children of Israel goes on like after Yaqub alayhi salam, so from like Yusuf alayhi salam all the way into Isa alayhi salam. That's how many chances the children of Israel were given. SubhanAllah.
Either way, we don't even need to know how many chances. Just know Allah is the most just, and He gave them enough. Yeah, it's just another way of looking at it as well. It's crazy.
Yes, SubhanAllah.
I also need to address real quick for this like low iman talk, because we're surrounded by so much fitna in terms of people who want to turn us away from our deen. Why we stress knowledge is because nowadays you'll see on social media these preachers, whether they're Muslim or not Muslim, whether they're non-Muslim, Christian, Jewish, you see the propaganda anyway, atheists. So if they speak on Islam, 9 times out of 10, they're saying something extremely like false, lying,
wrong,
and
bruh.
they sometimes they'll go on live like on TikTok and they'll be spewing some nonsense, and Muslims in there will be believing them. They'll be saying, "Oh, I didn't know this was in the Quran. I didn't know this was in Hadith and this and that." And then they say, "Oh, I have to go look into it now." And like, don't let anyone who's not Muslim tell you how to like.
Never let them put you on the back foot. You have to put them on the back foot always, because we have the upper hand. We have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're gonna sit there. You're gonna let them that foul human being put you on the back foot. Never. Like, bro, that's the way I look at it, bro. Because like I said, just after that time, I'll never forget. In high school, look, I was a high school student, right? And I was told something about Islam. He said something so false about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I had to sit there and I thought like I didn't know how to answer him. I thought what he was saying was correct. Right. And then later on, I learned, and like subhanAllah, I wish to this day I can have a conversation with him. But I just can't. I can't find him. But you know, it is what it is. Y'all see him on the day of judgment. It's, it's crazy to think about.
He's right though. Don't let anyone ever put you on the back foot. If you're secure in your faith, and by that I mean like you know enough about your religion to not let anyone just go out and say, "Oh, this is what your religion says," and they're not even Muslim. Then know that you are very different from them. If you are a true mu'min, a mu'min of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nobody should be able to tell you about your religion that's not Muslim, bro. You should be secure in your faith to say, like, bro, you associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're an enemy to me right now. You're an enemy to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you're associating partners. Humble yourself. When I say this, I like keep yourself humble, but also understand who you are. Allah chose you as a Muslim, bro. Allah chose you. He didn't choose them. He may choose them later on, but right now they're an enemy to you. So right now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing them as a sign for you and a test for you to either go and learn or to be able to defend your religion, be secure in your faith. SubhanAllah, I really like how you said that, because I remember I used to be in high school and people would ask me certain questions I wouldn't be able to answer. I'd just be able to say like, "Oh, I'm Muslim, I fast, we do this, we do that." But I never really wanted to go into it with them, because either I was afraid to get judged or I wasn't fully knowledgeable on it, so I didn't want to speak on something that I didn't know, and that actually kind of hurt, because I was like, bro, I've been Muslim my whole life, so like, why can't I answer this question? It's kind of simple too. It's not like they're asking, about my aqidah or like my fiqh or something. No. They're asking about Ramadan,
and like
asking about the prayer and stuff like that,
And we were born Muslim, like alhamdulillah. But the other thing is, then I'm going out here like with one of my revert friends. He spends a little bit of time with me, and in 2 months' time, he's able to sit here and have the same type of arguments and conversations with these more knowledgeable people, so-called knowledgeable people on their face. I'm just like, wow, subhanAllah, dude's been Muslim 2 months and I've been Muslim, 20 years.
That tells you who you surround yourself with. I mean, we didn't grow around many Muslims. Like in my school, bro, I as far as I knew, I was like the only Muslim for a lot of the time. Or if there were any Muslims, they weren't very religious.
They weren't open about
it. They either weren't open about it or they weren't very religious, because that people were afraid of the judgment. So that's also something to think about. Be secure in your faith, even if you're not surrounded by many Muslims. But surrounding yourself with more Muslims will help you be more secure, help you learn more, help you put you on a path to better yourself. And that's not just from us. That's from the Prophet ﷺ. That's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said the Muslims are brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this in the Quran, that the Muslims it's a brotherhood. Like you guys should seek to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. You should seek to do good deeds, find the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why? Because it's better for you. It'll make worshiping Allah easier.
We're human beings. We're always meant to be together. Like, look, it's recommended to get married. We're told not to cut ties with kinship. We're told to go to the mosque, pray at the mosque, surround ourselves with our Muslim brothers and sisters, surround yourself with people who are doing better to you, to do good deeds. We're always supposed to stick together, right? So if you got that lone wolf mentality, I don't need nobody, like, bro, you're a loser, respectfully. Like, fix your mentality, because that mindset will only take you so far.
And I actually want to tell you something about that. This lone wolf mentality won't work in anything. Won't work in your religion. Won't work if you're trying to become a family man. It won't work if you're trying to be a businessman. Like, bro, especially business. That's because so many people, they're so interested in, making some money or having a business, becoming wealthy and stuff like that. You can't do it without someone who's already there.
Mm-hmm.
Having a mentor, having at least a group of people who are like-minded, who have the same goal as you, saying like, okay, we can all do this together. We can all work towards this together. That's way easier than you doing it by yourself. The same thing with your religion. To practice the deen of Islam, you say, okay, you see, your friend is praying that sunnah. Shoot, I'm gonna go pray that sunnah because he's praying it. Why would I let him do that and I'm not doing it? Oh, he taught me about this thing. Hold up, I'm gonna go read about this tonight, and I'm gonna go read about some more so that the next time we see each other, we can talk about it. Or that's literally, okay, look, that's literally how we did it. We would have these Islamic discussions, and then I'd notice, okay, we all learn different things, or sometimes we even learn the same thing, but we take different things out of it. We come with different wisdoms for each other, and then we'd be like, okay, these conversations, they're flowing so cool. So like, why don't we just talk about it? Like, what the heck? Or whenever we played like Islamic trivia, we'd see that, oh, he knows about that, but I don't know about that. Shoot, I got hit with because of that. So you know what? I'm gonna go learn about that. I'm gonna go even learn more stuff so that the next time I'm gonna have questions they don't know about, but I know about it. I'm like, right, see, I know that you don't,
bro. Or even just like, people that have that lone wolf mentality, like they never experience or it's like, I feel like they never really experienced brotherhood like we got brotherhood. Like just to even have trust in someone, like I can sleep in the same house as y'all. I can't sleep in the same house as a stranger. I got that type of trust in y'all. I'll let Osman drive my car. I know he's not gonna crash it. I'll let Hussien drive my car. I know he's not gonna crash it. It don't matter. Like I'll let Osman carry my wallet and he'll bring it back to me. Like that's the type of trust I got on my boys. Like, and I feel bad for people that don't got that type of trust. Like you think you on low wolf, you think that's gonna last, bro.
Man, what did you tell me? You told me this a couple years ago. You're like, man, if I'm in an airport, I had to leave my wallet somewhere. I'll trust the Muslim I just met 5 minutes ago versus the guy I know for 3 years. That's not a Muslim.
Nah, for real, bro.
Actually,
no, but it is true. Like, look, like obviously I don't want. Actually, no, I'm gonna label it like this. When we go to a so-called like Muslim country, right? Like let's say we're in Saudi Arabia, whatever, or Sudan, I can actually sit there and I can like trust what the people are saying for the most part, right? Because like I said, like if I leave my phone somewhere, like I can trust for the most part it's not going to be taken.
Mm-hmm. Or if someone says,
even if I'm in the mosque, right? Like forget the country as a whole, right? Because there's going to be non-Muslims and all that everywhere. But let's say the mosque where there's Muslim people sitting there. I know if I lose something there or if I'm doing something wrong, I know I can take this person's advice. I know I can, my stuff will still be there.
Bro, you want to hear something funny, bro? I remember one time I was praying in Saudi Arabia, and I came outside and I came to find my slides, right? My slides were wet. Someone took my slides, made a wudu with them, and came back. But at least he brought them back, though.
That's funny. What the heck?
I'm like, bro, these wet. I was like,
you actually, you guys were just getting into like how you can trust like your Muslim brothers and stuff like that. It's also understanding that when you're friends with Muslims, when you're friends with people who not only are like-minded in terms of like, let's say your goals and aspirations in life, like if they want to start a certain business with you, or if they want to learn a certain skill that you are also trying to learn, it's also for Muslims though, your goals are beyond this world. You guys are trying to detach yourself from the worldly desires. You're trying to live your life that is in a manner that is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're trying to earn the love of Allah. So your friendship goes beyond the world. It's bigger than like this dunya, right? Your friendship becomes bigger than this dunya.
It's eternal.
Exactly. Like you can chase a friendship that can lead you both to Jannah, and you guys can meet in Jannah and know each other in Jannah as well. Like subhanAllah, that's such a cool thing to think about. And that's why when you surround yourself with the right people, it's not just like, oh, I trust you, but it's like, bro, I want you to be in Jannah with me, bro.
Exactly, man. Look, may Allah protect us, but like even then, like let's say like you were that one friend you were lacking, but you still surround yourself around the right people. Let's say you end up in the hellfire. They might be your means of getting you out.
Or even,
like I said,
long after we die, brothers like this can't be replaced. So it's like, and it's like, even I know if I die, y'all gonna take care of my family. If you die, I'm gonna take care of your family. Like that's the type of brotherhood you got, man.
Or even then, like forget all that anyways, right? Like forget like, oh, taking care of my family. Who are gonna be the people that pray for you after your death? Who are gonna be the people that make dua for you after your death? Right? Those are the people that you want to surround yourself around. If your friends right now, if you were to die right now and they're not the ones that are able to pray for you, make dua for you, you need to go ahead and, reconsider your group of friends.
No, bro, not even that, bro. Some of y'all don't even realize your friends don't even really love you for real. Like they don't even like, they don't
like that. That's true love right there.
I
when
know,
someone's
exactly.
making dua for you and praying for you after your death, like that right there, that's gonna be your true friends. Because that's someone who truly loves you for the sake of Allah. Why is it that I have people around the world, right? Like on the other side of the world, right? Like when we're in Saudi Arabia, we're praying janazah, right? On people we never even met, we never even saw, right? That's loving somebody for the sake of Allah, right?
Mhm.
But me sitting here with non-Muslim friends, right? They're not gonna be able to do that. They can't do that for me. Like what, once I'm done here, like I'm done with them forever. I'm never gonna see them again.
Real. So I didn't even think of that.
Like a lot of people, I just peep. A lot of people, they have friends. Their friends don't even love them. Like after they die, that's it. They're not gonna check up on your family. They're not gonna check up on your people. They're not gonna check up. They're not even going. They're gonna probably see you in your grave, and that's it. They're not even gonna remember you. You're gonna be replaced just like that. Boy, you used to go clubbing with him. I would just go clubbing with that guy. Like it's just like that, bro.
I met this guy. He just like him.
Exactly. Like, subhanallah.
Bro, but even then, bro, like y'all saw that video, like the Sunnah guy made where he was like, people 30 minutes after your death, sitting there, they're just eating like normal. Yo, it's got enough salt in here. Like, dang, bro, it's crazy. Like, but that's the reality.
To me, I saw that video. I was like, oh shoot, this is so real. It's like, bro, once you've buried this person, it's like life goes on, bro. The world's gonna keep spinning.
For how many janazas have we prayed and asked what we're going to eat afterwards? SubhanAllah.
Yep. Not even just that, you prayed the janazah and you just go about your life. Khalas. Of course, the janazas or the funeral, all of it is a reminder of death, a reminder of that all of us are going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But none of us heed it until it's our time, until we see the angel of death right in front of us, ready to take our soul. And what is he going to do? Is he going to rip it out of your body, or is he going to take you in a gentle way, telling you that it's your time to go meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's probably one of the realest things that I can leave with anyone is what our life is going to be like is what we make of it, because we have the choice. We have the choice to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the choice to go out and find good friends. We have the choice to go and find a good spouse. We have the choice to go and have a good job and make an income that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of these things can be for Allah and be a form of worship for us if we choose that life. But we have to choose it so that Allah can choose us, because Allah will not change it unless you change it in yourself first. SubhanAllah. So with that being said, that's going to close out this podcast. Bismillah. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Give us suggestions for future podcasts, man. We need suggestions. We love to hear what you guys have to say. And inshallah, we'll see you guys.
And share this with your friends and family. You never know whose life you can change by sharing this. Make sure to join our Guided Success community, guys, for right now, right? Save the date of this video, right? We're at $54 a month now. I guarantee you in a year from now, inshallah, it's not going to be the same price. So make sure you guys go ahead and join. It's going to be very beneficial if you guys want to go ahead and correct your Quran memorization, tajweed, recitation. If you want to better all of those, even if you're a hafiz, you can still benefit from this, inshallah. That being said, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
We're not scholars. We're still students of knowledge, by the way. All right, go ahead.
All right, yeah, assalamu alaikum.